Ahoy, mateys! For real this time. Welcome to Jester Bros Cartoon Travelers, where my brother and I explore the vast and beautiful worlds of animation for the perfect place to call home. We're your captains, Alec and Lou, and I see you got something on over there, bro. Whatever could it be?
Oh, this is my One Piece kimono. My homie, my One Piece homie, and I have a ceremony where if one of our friends gets caught up in One Piece, we give them a kimono.
That is really cool.
Yeah, it's
Is
awesome.
there
I love it.
is there something about One Piece specifically that makes that the tradition?
Oh no, that's just our thing. We just started doing that. Um,
Okay.
he had one and I wanted one, and now it's just now whenever anybody catches up, it's like it's a thing because it's such a long series. I feel like, I mean, don't get me wrong, catching up is reward in itself. But there's something really, I don't know, there's kind of something fun about being on the team with everybody who's caught up right now. And reading each chapter. I'm caught up in the manga for anybody who's interested in One Piece. Welcome to the podcast.
Okay.
I'm already starting on this.
I was gonna guess it was because it's one piece of clothing.
Hey, now then we
Man,
would get a One Piece.
I'm so disappointed that you didn't cough on your soda with laughter when I said that. I was ready for it. That's the kind of thing that would have gotten me. My own humor, obviously.
I'll
Uh,
book that for further in this podcast.
well, if y'all haven't figured it out yet by the name of the podcast, the name of the YouTube video, or perhaps all of the discussion leading up to this point, we're talking about One Piece today. And this is
Yes.
we're trying new things here on the Cartoon Travelers podcast because last time we went through Ben 10 Aliens. We explored the world differently by talking through which creatures we would like to be and showing
Yes.
pictures and sort of going through it that way. I thought that was a lot of fun.
I love that too.
And we're doing something different again because this will be the first episode that we're going through where Lou has seen the show and I have not. And I'm kind of excited for this because it's going to help me better understand how much nonsense are we actually talking when we both know the thing, right?
Oh, that's
Because
funny. Oh,
I,
this is going to be a bad example of that because this is a nonsensical thing. There's a lot that goes into this.
well, because as we invite all of the audience on our ship with this podcast, the hope is that even if you're somebody who hasn't seen the show, you can
Yeah.
still enjoy it and get a sense of whether this is a world you would like to live in without even having seen one episode or the movie or whatever. But
Yeah,
we
and,
don't
and
actually know without because we always know what it is. I'm curious to see how confused am I based on what you have to
yeah.
say.
And on that note, I do want to say I'm going to do my best to keep this spoiler free. I will make sure to keep it like major spoiler free. There might be characters that I'm going to reveal if you're early in One Piece or just getting started. There might be like elements of the show, power systems, places that exist that you haven't gotten to yet, and those are kind of light spoilers. But nothing huge drama, story, plot related, character development related. I should be spoiling. I'm going to do my best.
Great. Can I ask just one general thing, which I think I know the answer to, but will help?
Yeah.
Is the world of One Piece just called the One Piece world for all
No.
intents and purposes?
I mean, there is like a map of
Well,
One Piece. Like,
I'm not
like,
asking for a map. I guess I'm just wondering, like,
do
is
you
there
mean
a
like
name of
what people call it, or what it's called in universe?
yeah, like what is the One Piece universe called for what we're talking about today?
It's so funny. I know the map so well and like how it's divided up. I don't know if they actually call the planet. It takes place on a planet. Um,
Right. So,
I'm gonna
so
I'm gonna
I
look that up.
I
I
asked
don't know if there is
because
a name.
I knew the answer, but I was hoping that you were going to reply, and I only know because I looked it up beforehand out of curiosity.
Oh, really?
Um,
What is it?
my understanding, people just call it the One Piece world.
Oh, okay.
So
It's not called that
yeah,
in universe though, because the One Piece is a thing in the universe.
right. I mean, in their universe, they would just call it the world.
Yeah, yeah, like yeah, exactly. It's the world. There you go.
So, but of course, within the world, we also have mini lands, which I'm sure we will discuss a little bit today.
Yes.
Um,
Oh, no,
get
we'll get into that. That's very important. The layout of the map.
yeah, get through the geography, the mechanics. Is there anything that you think we need to establish before we sail on to the One Piece world?
Well, uh, um, I think nothing that I won't be able to introduce as we talk about it. Like you're familiar with pirate crews. I know you're kind of familiar with devil fruits, but I'll talk more about how that all works.
Great.
Um,
Okay.
I will have the one thing I will end up spoiling is I will have light spoilers on how devil fruits work because it's going to make our conversation more interesting. So, warning to anybody, it's not like a huge spoiler, but it is a spoiler and it will affect how you think about stuff watching the series, probably.
Great. Okay. Well, off we go to the world of One Piece.
Yes.
Oh, that was great.
You forgot to know. I thought you would remember from
I
last time.
thought I had it. I thought I was gonna remember, and I did not.
You know that extra part of the sound effect is just going a little further. You know, it's you just got to make a half jump.
Yeah, it was a really long ways to the One Piece world, as it turns out.
Exactly. Yeah.
All right. Well, Lou, here we are. What do we see?
Honestly, you see, you see a planet that's mostly covered in ocean. Kind of similar to ours, but much less huge continental uh divides, I guess I could say, in the ocean. It's so from where we're looking down, we have the North Blue, we have the Red Line, we have I say we have North, East, West, and South Blue, much like the hemispheres we have on Earth, right?
Okay.
And then we have the Red Line, which is a huge land strip that goes in a circle around the Earth that divides it. And then we have the Grand Line, which is a stretch of ocean that's kind of like our latitude lines. If that makes
Interesting.
sense.
Oh,
Or our
no, it
equator,
does.
like our equator, yeah.
Our equator. Got it. So that and let me ask then, is that really just the easiest way of picturing what this looks like on a map? And then
Yeah, yeah, here. Let me full screen that. I'll just share it real quick. Boot down
oh
our
yeah.
nice effects real quick.
So if y'all are watching on YouTube, you're going to have an opportunity in just a second to see what this looks like.
I'm just gonna bring it up really quick.
Sure.
So
Um
it's not like
all
the
right.
even here, let me zoom in.
Cool. Okay,
Yeah,
this
so
definitely
this is your
helps.
map.
Got it. And I would encourage, if you are an audio only listener and you want to know what this looks like, feel free to look it up. Um, so what we're seeing, of course, is flat, even though the world is round. Unless I don't know if the conspiracy theories exist there as well.
No, no, no. It's a round planet. There's no flat Earth conspiracies in One Piece,
But we are
thankfully.
kind of seeing, like you said, kind of a set of strips of land and then a bunch of ocean in
Yep.
between those long strips. So
Yep.
that's interesting. Is the idea behind this that we're trying to kind of have a world where the ocean makes up so much of it that we're able to have a bunch of the plot take place there?
You know, I can't. I'm not gonna speak on in terms of plot. I can't. I just simply can't. Uh, it's too complicated, and the reasons are spoilers for what I would get into. And even just saying that makes me nervous that I'm revealing too much.
Okay. Well, is each of these what did you say? Left, right, top, bottom, knees and toes, knees
Northeast,
and toes?
southwest,
Oh wow.
cardinal directions.
I'm gonna pretend like I didn't flub that. Are they all very distinct in terms
Yes.
of what the areas offer us?
Absolutely. So the East Blue is what most people in the show will know the best, other than the Grand Line and I guess both halves of the Grand Line and the Red Line. Um, East Blue is where the Straw Hat Pirates are from. So like the whole first like 4 or 5 arcs all exist in East Blue. We get a lot of our crew in East Blue, and then they go out into the Grand Line. Does that make sense generally?
It does, yeah.
And the Grand Line, so East Blue is kind of like where a lot more low key villages exist. That's where a lot of the weaker pirates are from. East Blue is considered like one of the less tumultuous areas in the world, because there are less strong enemies, there's less challenging environmental things going on, there's less scary monsters. The Grand Line has sea beasts, which are like giant sea monsters that will destroy your ship in a nanosecond. Just to
Wow.
give you a setting of like the technology you're working with too, like everybody's on boats. We don't have any aircraft. Asterisk. We don't worry about aircraft.
Got it.
Aircraft generally shouldn't happen. Despite the fact that there is also, that you didn't see on this map, a sky island, which is an island that is in the clouds, that is fully in the sky, and there's an entire kingdom in the sky. And that's another part that we'll have to talk about. This is a huge place. And another thing I will want to say to huge fans of One Piece is there's no way I'm going to get to everything. There's just no chance that I'll be able to get to everything. I'm just going to try to get to highlights throughout the series. But
I think
best.
highlights are good. What we need is a way for me to very quickly understand, is this a world I would want to live? And what are the most likely areas that I might choose if I were to live here? Right?
So, yes. And one thing I will say is I'm going to do my best not to pitch this to you, because if I pitch this to you, I'm going to give it a skewed representation of, because if I pitched it to you, I know what you like. You know what I mean? So I'm going to be like, these are the powers and things that I think you would enjoy. So I won't be doing that as much as I want to. And I'm going to try to give more of an overarching sense of the area and different places. Because the problem is with One Piece is that it's so unique and its locations are so unique that it feels more like I need to tell you about every single location in itself, because they could have their own, every single location could have its own manga or animated show dedicated to it. It's so interesting.
Okay.
So
I mean,
like for example, I'll just shout out a random one. There's the Kingdom of Zou, which is light spoilers, a kingdom of animal human hybrid people that live on the back of an elephant that is traveling the Grand Line.
I'm not gonna lie, that sounds so cool that you almost made me want to pick the series back up.
Oh, okay. So that's another thing everybody should know is my true goal by the end of this podcast is to get Alec to start watching One Piece.
So, okay, let me
And
say something
everyone
here.
watching this who hasn't seen it yet, because I'm telling you, it's so good. You have no idea. If you're a hater, you just don't understand. Nobody's caught up with One Piece that doesn't think it's good. Nobody.
During COVID, I did watch about 30 episodes of the sub,
Nice.
and I
Not in
liked
English
it.
then. You saw the
Correct.
Japanese. Okay,
Correct.
nice. I mean, the English voice actors do a good job, no disrespect. As long as you don't watch the Fox for Kid dub.
Yes. So, with that said, um, the thing that threw me, which I think throws a lot of people, which is why I want to give you a chance to talk about this,
Yeah.
was the pacing. They were recapping
Yeah.
many things that had already happened in previous episodes, and I got very tired of that really fast.
Yeah. So the thing is, uh this that is okay, so a lot of people say One Piece is the greatest anime of all time. I disagree. I believe it is one of the greatest stories ever told. And sometimes throughout the anime, especially in the earlier days, it has a pretty hard time uh keeping itself on track. On pace, so to speak. So it's so bad that people will say that the fan base has created a fan edited version of the show called One Pace, which is supposed to match the manga chapters as opposed to the show as it was originally, made. Because there's a lot of filler that was added, a lot of, like you were saying, a lot of flashbacks and stuff. And I do recommend people watch One Pace. I'll be honest. Because you are getting something that's more on track with the writing that was originally done for the manga, and it's just you're getting so much less of the BS, right? And that is how I saw it for the first time. That said, once you get past a certain point in the show, the filler's not bad anymore. A lot of it's really interesting, and a lot of it is just really good fight scenes being animated. Like Wano, mwah, excellent arc, which is one of the newest ones. So that's just a disclaimer for anybody who's interested. And I know it's like, oh, if you need a disclaimer, is it really that good? Yes, it is. I promise.
And you had mentioned nobody who is still watching it does not think it's one of the greatest things ever. And
Yeah.
I would like to hope so if people have given it over 1,000 episodes. I think anybody who's not still watching it gave up. but I
Oh, totally.
appreciate what you're trying to say with that.
Sure. And
Um,
I think reading the manga weekly is different from watching the show. Because when you're reading the manga weekly, it doesn't feel like you're sitting through 30 long episodes of can we get to the point. We're waiting week by week and we have no idea what's going to happen, no idea what's going to get revealed. So it's like you're always on the edge of your seat versus you already know there's a huge marathon in front of you. So you're just waiting for the 26th mile. You know what I mean?
right. So what I'm excited for is that Netflix is rebooting the
Yeah.
series in an animated form. The idea, I think, is to give people the anime without all of the filler so that people can kind of start from the beginning, following the success of them adapting it for live action that a lot of people really liked.
Yeah, we'll see. We'll see. It could be really good. I'm probably going to watch it too. The hard part is always going to be with any remake or redone thing is it ever going to be as good? Are they making improvements upon the original? And the cool thing about One Piece is for a while that'll be like, yeah, but once they get to like Whole Cake Island and Wano, I don't know, man. The show's really good. Their
Well,
animation budget's just way better. The writing's a little tighter too. Like, I don't know. We'll see. We'll see.
I'm sure that many fans will be partial to the original when it comes out, but I think a low barrier to entry for a show like this is really important to find new fans. And
Yeah, I
even
think
if it's
that's
not
fair.
as good, like I'm very excited to get into it that way. Uh, can we go back to the elephant? Can you just
Yeah,
not just specific? I mean, that sounded awesome, but could you talk
yeah.
just give me a couple more examples of random worlds that have cool things going on?
Yeah, so Punk Hazard is like a completely Halloween themed island. There's
Uh,
zombies, there's ghosts. Some of my favorite Devil Fruit users are there, at least at the time when the arc happens. Um, there's yeah, just very gothic theme, vampires, ghosts, werewolves, all that kinds of stuff. Um, you know, crazy doctors. So that's a fun place if you're into that theme. Uh, Something a little more in line with the plot line. There's the Marine Ford and Impel Down headquarters. Impel Down is a jail where the most wanted criminals are held, and it's just a huge like fort, like Marine fort base in the middle of the Calm Belt. Um, and or not the Calm Belt, sorry. They just make a big like I don't even know how to describe it. It's like a giant canyon of ocean, so that it's almost impossible to get through.
okay,
Yeah, it's like a high.
Alcatraz
It's
vibes.
yeah, Alcatraz vibes, but there's already a land barrier and an ocean barrier, so there's also a huge canyon of ocean in between the ocean, um, which and then there's like waterfalls going down on each side. It's very cool. Yeah, and then there's did I say Marineford? Ennis Lobby, Marineford are related. I get them mixed up sometimes. There's let's see. There's so many interesting. There's the land of Wano, which is a large chunk of continent that is styled after like feudal Japan, and it's been an isolationist country. So they've had no pirates going in, no samurai going out, and like I said, the whole world is like pirates, right? Wano is not pirates. Wano is samurai, and very, very much styled differently. The animation is different. The music changes. The characters' outfits, usually match wherever we are, but those change too. So if you're into the feudal Japan samurai era, that's a great spot. I love the art and the just the vibes of that time period. Let's see, what else do we got? The Halloween place is Punk Hazard. I don't know if I mentioned that. Little Garden is an island of giants. We also see there's one place in the Calm Belt that is there is the island of Amazon women, who are a bunch of a lady only village or island that exists. So the Calm Belt is on either side of the Grand Line, and there's no current, so you can't sail there. You will just get eaten by a sea beast eventually, right? Sea King. I keep calling them Sea Beast. It's Sea King. I'm so afraid of the anime community coming for my throat with getting some of these wrong. I'm terrible with names, everybody. You're going to have to deal.
It's so funny too because already I'm like, man, the names mean absolutely nothing to me as somebody who's just listening, trying to learn something about it.
Sure,
It's like
yeah.
it's basically easier to just say there's a place that's like this, and it's
Yeah.
gonna stick with me more. Like I won't be able to relay many of the names back to you, but I remember Punk Hazard because you said it twice by accident.
Yes. I could jump around and do a bunch of these. I'm gonna try to go in somewhat of an order of the uh, I'm gonna call them hemispheres, just to get a better idea. So East Blue is the chiller of the hemispheres, right? Very much small town vibes, rural vibes, not a lot of high interest stuff going on with the world government or anything like that. That's another thing you should know about this place is that it is owned and dominated by the world government. Which is what you would think it is. It's a government that governs the whole world. Very big asterisk. Um,
Interesting.
and yeah, and that's one of the reasons why there are. I'm trying to tiptoe around plot. That's one of the reasons why there's so many pirates is because the world government is maybe not always the best governing force in the grand scheme of things. And what a lot of people think is a silly pirate anime ends up actually being a story about how we need to come together to overthrow our oppressors.
Interesting. The proletariat and the bourgeoisie all over again, Karl Marx.
Very, very utilitarian. Oh my gosh. Don't start citing Marx like you've read him.
Well, I'll read him. Uh,
Well, I'll
can
read
we
him.
can we talk then about the differences, like just like I guess highlighted differences between these hemispheres? I want to start there, like a hemisphere that I feel like fits the best for me, but also so
So
that the audience can identify. Because you mentioned rural, and that's good, maybe.
yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, it's really hard because there's just islands in all of them mostly, right? And all of the islands are unique in of themselves. So there's really not that much distincting any of these places from any other. I mean, the only reason
I
East
see.
Blue is really like this is just because that's where it's very much, in my opinion, for plot relevance. Like that's where our characters started. They have to start not very strong. So East Blue is therefore the pretty much not very strong place, and all of the other ones have really powerful examples within them.
Got it. Okay, actually, this helps. So the hemispheres themselves, they don't matter as much as the individual places that are just really cool. Is that safe to say?
Yeah, yeah. But it's
Okay.
easy for it helps with going through it. So okay, so Luffy is from Dawn Island, which is it's an island. Like I said, there are villages in it. It's not hugely populated. There is the Goa Kingdom, which is more of a country that's located on the island in East Blue. And I'll just say that's more in ties with like the city element of the world government. Yeah, I think that's spoiler free. There's there's Orange Town, which is where I think that's where Usopp is from. Oh wait, is that no? Orange Town is where they met Buggy, who's the clown who can separate his body into multiple parts. This is so hard to explain out of context.
It is quite interesting. Again, unfortunately, Buggy means nothing to me. Sorry, Buggy.
Yeah,
Um,
but Buggy's a slightly more populated town in the Organ Islands. Syrup Village is where Usopp is from, and that's a very, very small village. That's way more rural. And the plot line there is that there's this one character, Usopp, who is he wants to be a brave warrior of the sea, and his backstory is fantastic. He really every morning in this island, he would wake up and tell everybody that there were pirates coming. You know, it was classic like boy who cried wolf situation where there weren't
I
actually
watched
pirates
this.
coming. You did? Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
And did you find out why he did that?
It's possible that I don't remember.
Sure. I'm just gonna spoil this because I want to talk about it. But it was because first of all, he is a liar. Like his character is he's like like he lies about stuff all the time. A lot of the time his lies come true. But he is a liar. What?
I think I got it. Was it he was preserving this lie for either a child or a person that he loved?
No, it was because his dad is a pirate and his dad left him when he was a kid. So he did it because he was hoping his dad would come back every time he said it.
Oh, that's even nicer. Wow.
Right? And I believe one day somehow it's going to come back because I'm pretty sure his dad is still out there in the world somewhere. still haven't run into him yet where I'm at in the story, which is up to date, like thousands of episodes in, so
Okay.
or over 1,000.
Well, hope that guy finds his dad.
Yeah, I know, right?
Again, it's so hard. Like, how many hundred more like little places like this exist?
Oh, a lot. There's a
Yeah.
lot.
Okay.
I'm just trying to hit the relevant ones because these are the ones like that one's where Usopp's from, so we actually spend some time there, and
I
it's
see.
like, it's a little of our plot relevant. So like there's Arlong Park, which is near, I don't remember the town that Nami's from, but Arlong Park is a at least at the time that we see it in the show, because at the end it changes, but it's an amusement park that is run by fishmen, the Fishman Pirates. And there are a race of people that are fish people. And I might as well use that to say that there's also Fishman Island. I'm sure you probably haven't heard of Fishman Island, right?
No.
Fishman Island is underwater.
That's awesome. Okay,
there,
that is awesome.
yeah, but it's in a globe, so you don't have to. You still have to travel underwater to get there. But once you're there, you can be an air breather and live in the island and stuff.
Awesome.
But there's a lot of racism in One Piece, and Fishman people are considered like lower class and discriminated, and they're even part of government-backed slave trade. So there's a lot of that stuff going on. So it's a very unequal society. And when it comes to that with classism, that's a huge theme in One Piece. There's these people called the Celestial Dragons who live in the Holy Land of Mary-Joie, and they consider themselves to be gods and everyone else to be considered gross little monkey people to be subjugated to whatever their whim is, essentially. So if you ever run into, if you bump, like if you brush shoulders with a celestial dragon, you're probably going to get shot immediately. It's not, you don't want to be involved with them. There's all of this crazy inequality. There's a lot of villainy going on there. And the world government, I will say, isn't like so buddy with this like elite ruling class that there aren't actors within the world government that wouldn't act against them, theoretically.
Okay.
Most of them probably don't ever and wouldn't because of the consequences of doing that. But in terms of their ethical alignments, I don't want to paint this picture of like pirates are all this revolutionary badasses and the world government is evil, because that's not how it is. There are terrible pirates and there are terrible Marines. There are also really good Marines and really good pirates.
I actually really like that the dichotomy is
Yeah.
complicated, because that's how it should be.
That is how it should be. I agree.
And when you have 1,000
yeah.
episodes, you got a lot of time to paint those differences.
Yeah, you have a lot of time to do this character exposition, which to the story, I mean, a lot of people are like, it's too long for me. The thing is, it's so long that by the time really crazy stuff happens, you are so invested in these characters and their lives and their personalities and how they interact with another, because we get so much time with them. So I think it really pays off to get all of that time with people. But that's beside the thing. So let me brush over some more interesting islands really quick. Because we meet Brooke in the middle of the ocean as we're getting to Punk Hazard. There are going to be crew spoilers in this one. Sorry, everybody, if you haven't seen it yet. That's just unavoidable. Alrighty. So we got Syrup Village. There's the Island of Rare Animals, which is like Treasure Island, kind of. It's like, based on the story of Treasure Island. And there's a bunch of just weird, rare animals that live there. And nothing much more than that, but I thought it's fun to mention.
I love that.
Why was Logtown important? I forgot. Oh yeah, Logtown is the like resupply station for getting into the Grand Line. So the reason why everything is divided this way is because of the Red Line and the Grand Line. It's almost impossible to cross these borders because, like I said, on either side of the Grand Line is the Calm Belt, and you can't sail across the Calm Belt. So you actually can't get across the Grand Line from west to east. It's just not possible. There's a huge landmass in between two of the islands as well, and that mass is impossible to climb as well because it's like cliffs, pretty much. So there are these geographic, natural, if you know, you know, land barriers that organize it this way, if that makes sense. And for that reason, Logtown is like the biggest city port for trying to get to the Grand Line so that you can try and cross into any of the other places. So the reason that's important is because if you choose a place, there's a good chance that your situation will not allow you to go anywhere else. You know,
Ooh, that's really good to know.
it's
Ugh.
really easy to be landlocked. Most of the citizens that we meet on these islands are just natural citizen people. They're not explorers. They're not pirates. They don't have boats. They don't travel the seven seas. They just live where they were born. Or maybe they, you know, they live where they live and they don't really have any reason to leave.
Well, but if they did, let me ask you, if you're on a ship, are you always pretty much a pirate, or at the very least, like at risk of being killed by pirates?
100%.
All right. This makes me nervous.
It's not lawless. Like there are the Marines, but getting caught by the Marines is almost just as bad. You know what I mean? Like the Marines will be on your. It's kind of like it's honestly just kind of like normal police. Like if you're totally following the law without anything, no small fines, no violations of any kind, then you're okay. They're on your side. But if you break the smallest laws, you might end up in really serious trouble. Not because the laws are like it's just like our society. Like if you get fined, okay, if you're rich, you're allowed to break the law. But if you get fined and you're not rich, that's practically like going to jail if you can't pay it back. So it's illegal to be poor. You know what I mean?
Okay. So I think you're doing a really good job of helping explain, like, here would be some of the pitfalls to being in a place like this. Because it's tricky, right? It's like, cool, pirates, big open world, lots of really cool places, world of exploration. But
Yeah.
when we do this thought experiment, we are trying to think through where could we plop ourselves in to have the most fulfilling life if we were to do it. And
Yeah.
what you're kind of telling me, it's very difficult to find that ideal scenario, at least in a
Well,
place
for
that's
you,
safe.
well, yeah, because you're looking for a settle down kind of place. I'm trying not to cultivate it towards your perspective, but I know that that's something that you're more into.
Okay, fair
Um,
enough. So, because if you were a pirate and you wanted to be a pirate, this could still
yeah.
be very cool.
This would be lit. And the thing
Okay.
is, so let's say you're in the East Blue. There's a pirate, Captain Kuro, I'm pretty sure. And his whole plan as a villain, when you see him in his arc, all he wants to do is have a peaceful life and stop being a pirate. That is his whole goal. His dreams were crushed. He has no interest in like trying to rise above and do anything great. He's done with all that. And all he wants to do is relax. And here comes this rubber crack addict, Monkey D. Luffy,
Oh
to show
no.
up and like completely ruin his plans. When in all honesty, he wasn't. I mean, he was doing some nefarious things, but like in general, his goals were pretty chill in the grand scheme of things, right? There are lots of pirates who they are pirates, but they're not like pillaging harmless people. You know what I mean?
Sure.
You're making your own way in the world without the assistance of the government, and the government doesn't love that. So just because you're a pirate doesn't, it's just like our society. Just because you're labeled a criminal in the eyes of the government doesn't mean that that's actually a reflection of who you are or how you behave. It just means that you broke the code, you know?
Definitely. And to your point earlier, these characters are all very complex. So you're saying,
Yeah.
you don't get a lot of bad guys who are just evil for being evil. At the very least, like,
Yeah,
there's
it's not as common. Maybe like really early in the show you do, but I'm pretty sure every single villain gets a complex arc that explains why they do what they do and what their backstory was and that in general. Yeah.
but that still doesn't mean that you're safe as a civilian, because it may be
Sure,
regardless of
yeah.
why they are that way, they are still that way, and therefore you are in danger, which is why sociology is
Well,
complicated.
the thing is, you could be safe as a civilian. I mean, for example, you could want to live on the island of the Amazon women because they live in the Calm Belt and they are so strong that nobody fucks with them. Like,
Hmm.
literally nobody goes near that island. They are you will actually get turned into stone by the person who is the strongest leader there. And all of them are trained in this like super advanced form of martial art. So yeah, they're and it's just geographically very difficult. And there are more places like that, like Zoe, the land of, well, that's a bad example. There are places that in general don't get trouble very often. If you're in the East Blue, you're way less likely to get harmed just because there's nobody that strong around. So in this scenario, you could say, "Oh, I want to live on Syrup Island because it's like a really chill small town vibe. Everyone knows each other. They're all kind of cool with each other. But I'll also have a powerful pirate crew. We just will live there, and that'll be your territory, and no one will mess with you." That's not that hard to accomplish if you wanted to like set up your perfect scenario.
Okay, got it. So in that case, let's circle back to the pirates and what it
Yeah.
would be like to be one of them if you were excited about that prospect.
All right. So I like this part because this talks about like the community element. You know what I mean? Because so we have the Whitebeard pirates, who are some of the strongest pirate crew that we see, some of the strongest pirates that we see in the entire series. And they treat each other like they are actually like family, like closer than any family I've ever even met. Whitebeard is considered their like adopted dad. He's the captain of the crew. And the people, like, you could tell that they really love each other and they would do anything for each other in this crew. The Straw Hats are the same way. Luffy's not like their dad figure, but they are Nakama, which is like, Nakama is a word in Japanese that means friend, but it means more than that. It's like soulmate in a way. Like, like you are so important to me. Like you are my chosen family, like that. Like I would do anything for you. And that's what you get out of a lot of different pirate crews, is this undying sense of love and loyalty to each other. And I think that that's something that a lot of people in our society really sadly don't get to have. Sometimes you don't actually like your family that much. And even if you do, a lot of times it's not an "I'll take a bullet for you" kind of thing. It's just a circumstantial "I was born here, here I am" kind of situation,
Mm-hmm.
Um, and in the education system, you meet your friends in high school, but it's not like you go through anything that really binds you other than the high school experience, which is pretty blasé as far as I'm concerned. So unless you're part of like a sports team or like band, unless you get involved in something where you have to go through hardships together and really grow as a group, you don't really get that sense of love and community outside of like one person that you marry or whatever, or your parents or a very small amount of people. And being in a pirate crew is not always, but it can be like, these are the people that I love to death, and this is like, just being with them is the meaning that I need in life. And I think that the show communicates that very well with a lot of the different pirates we see. There are pirate crews that are also like a gang of criminals, or like criminal types in the stereotypical sense, where they are all just like genuinely like, I just want to drink and pillage, and that's all I care about. You know what I mean? Like all I cares about is money. You know what I mean? Like that. There is that. But most of those people have very frail willpower, so they don't actually end up doing anything very interesting. You know what I mean?
Ooh, frail willpower. Interesting. Yeah.
Oh, willpower is everything in One Piece. The more willpower you have, the more powerful you will be. And the more, and I think I think it's fair to say, like, that's how hockey works, which is like aura or chi, or, like any other anime power system. Do you
I
not?
thought you were talking about the NHL, the National
No,
Hockey League.
no.
You can't just tell me that's how hockey works. I'm like, that's a weird
A,
example of a
A,
sport. I do understand the camaraderie.
no, that makes sense. HAKI. Honestly, I know One Piece so much more than sports, I completely forgot those were even the same thing.
I mean,
That's
they're
so
not.
funny.
They're just spelled completely
Yeah,
differently.
no,
But
I know what you mean though.
okay,
Yeah.
I'm so sorry. I got distracted by the how thrown off I was. Explain hockey again.
So hockey, this will be a little spoiler for people who are only in the first half of One Piece, but hockey is a power system that's essentially like your willpower.
Okay.
So you can have armament hockey, which is like you can coat your body in like armor. You have observation hockey, where your perception stat is just crazy. You can see really far. Sometimes you can even see a little bit into the future. You have conqueror's hockey as well, which is where your willpower is so intense that you can literally knock people out just by giving them a crazy look.
Wow.
So hockey is essentially like willpower. Like if you have supreme power of will and you have hockey, it's so strong. It even beats devil fruit powers. So on that note, I do want to get to the power system because I think that this is one of the fun parts about deciding what you want to do in One Piece. Because you have hockey, so you could become a good at fighting, armament, whatever, observation, all that stuff, right? Basic level superhero powers, you could think of it. But then you have devil fruit powers. Do you know what a devil fruit is?
Only what you have told me about it. I understand that if you eat a devil fruit, you gain a power, but that it's also a lot more. I guess it's a lot deeper than that.
Yeah, so the lore without spoilers is that if you eat a devil fruit, I said I was going to get to one devil fruit spoilers, and I'm going to in just a second, but this is not them yet. If you eat a devil fruit, you get a power, some strange power. The devil fruits look really cool. They all taste terrible. All devil fruits taste really bad. And you will be hated by the ocean. The deep blue sea devil will hate you for having this power, and for that reason, you cannot swim, and ocean water will weaken you and kill you over time.
Ah, that's really interesting. That's a part that I did not know or remember.
Yeah, and in this world, that's pretty messed up because as you remember looking at that map, it's mostly ocean here. Um, so you know, and if you're a pirate and you have a devil fruit power, it could kill you really easily if you're not good at figuring out how to use it. Now
You
some
just like
powers,
fall in the water, or so
yeah,
sorry, and also it can degrade you just by touching you. The water, like
yeah,
kill you over time.
yeah. So if someone puts your hand in a puddle of ocean water, you will not be able to lift a finger. You just get, it's like you're sick, like really sick immediately.
Wow.
Yeah, so that's a factor. If you do want one of these powers, your ability to swim. Now, some of these powers circumvent that a little bit. Like one of the Marine Admiral Aokiji's power is ice, and you can freeze the ocean and walk on it, and that's chill. Uh,
Huh.
so
Sorry, just hit
yeah,
with the joke.
so you know, there are powers that you can choose, and a lot of people would choose a power that can offset that downside. There are some powers that allow you to fly. In fact, let's get into the specific devil fruit powers. Maybe I can't do this without spoilers. I wasn't planning on it, but let's give it a shot. So there are 3 categories of devil fruit powers, and then some that are kind of outliers, but we won't get into those because that's just too much information. There's Logia devil fruits, where your ability is to transform and control natural elements. So the first Logia devil fruit user we see in the series is Smoker, and he has the Moku Moku no Mi, or the smoke fruit, right?
Hmm.
So he can turn into smoke and control smoke.
That's pretty interesting.
And if you do that, you can't get hit, you can't get shot, you can't get damaged by anything that doesn't have hockey or another devil fruit power, essentially. You know what I mean? Unless there's
Yeah.
like a natural way to fight it. So another power is the lightning fruit. Let me see what that one's called. The Goru Goru no Mi, or the Rumble fruit. Where you can turn into lightning and control lightning. Now that's a crazy, freaking, super powerful fruit, in my opinion.
Sorry, that's one of the
Logias,
examples. Okay, got it, got it. Okay.
yeah. And now you might know that Luffy has a rubber fruit, and rubber absorbs electricity. So Luffy didn't need hockey to punch Eneru, who is the wielder of that devil fruit.
I see.
So there are some that like they have like a natural thing that can counteract it, but in general, you're pretty much invincible to normal attacks if you have a power like that. They are generally considered to be really broken. There's a snow fruit, there's a gas fruit, a swamp fruit, a soot fruit, a forest fruit. All of these fall within this magma fruit, light, literally light.
So And this basically means that you have like control over those resources
and can
can
turn into it.
can turn it. So if you're a forest, you can turn into a tree. Is that what
Yeah,
I mean to understand? Okay.
any tree, any tree.
Wow, that's cool.
Yeah, and you have power of vines, and you have like there's a lot. Now there are some strange fruits like the pocket fruit where you have the ability. I'm pretty sure you have the ability to put anything in a pocket, or you have a lot of pockets that could generate a pocket out of somewhere. It's considered a really terrible devil fruit in the grand scheme of things.
Well, in D&D, we would call this the bag of holding, where you are able to fit all kinds of things and
Exactly.
carry a lot around.
Yeah. And now in the world of One Piece, now the thing is about that fruit is we just don't know where to categorize it. Because I'll get to the other category. It just seems weird. So then there's paramecia. So this is the ability that allows you to create substances, alter your bodies, and manipulate the surrounding environment in general. And one of the examples of this is the Hana Hana no Mi, or the flower fruit that one of the Straw Hats, Nico Robin, has, where she can create clones of her body parts and emerge them from any surface. So she can grow extra arms on her back and fight with multiple arms. She could grow, feet on the walls and kick people from distances. She's even shown she's shown to create full clones of herself in some scenarios. So that's one example. And then there's Brooke, who has the Yomi Yomi no Mi, which is the revive fruit. Now this fruit has a special property where you only get the powers after you've died. So once you eat this fruit, you have no devil fruit powers until you die. And then once you die, you have the power of resurrection and you have the power of soul control.
Even if you die in the ocean?
We can neither confirm nor deny that, to be honest.
Fine.
Well,
Okay.
we just don't know. We've never seen it happen.
Oh, got it.
I don't know. Like if Brooke had died in the ocean, would he have still come back to life and been able to use his power? I don't think so, because when he died, his skeleton is what came back to life, and so he would become a living skeleton, and then your living skeleton self would still just be at the bottom of the ocean. So even if you were alive, you just effectively be stuck as a skeleton with full consciousness living at the bottom of the ocean.
All right. So what you're saying is I can't game the system to be like, well, I don't have to be afraid of the ocean because
Let me put it this way. So fishmen have gills and can breathe underwater. We have seen a fishman with the devil fruit at the bottom of the ocean, and they just sat there and waited for somebody to get them.
Interesting.
They didn't die, but they couldn't do anything.
I see.
So, if you were a fisherman, you wouldn't die if you fell in the ocean, but it would still weaken you.
Fascinating. All right. So that covers the 3 subsets of devil fruits?
The one I did not go to. So
Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
those are Paramecia are all like kind of body power fruit. Some of them blur the lines a little bit, like the wax fruit. You can produce wax and create objects out of it. It's kind of weird that that's not a Pyromecia. So the categories aren't perfect. And then we have in the last category, getting there. Sorry, there's a lot of devil fruits that I'm cycling through. So we went through Logia, Logia, Pyromecia, and then the last one is Zone. And zone fruits are essentially the power of being able to turn into an animal or a dinosaur or something like that.
All right, now we're talking Wonder Twins.
Yeah, and zone transformations have 3 forms. You have the full animal form, where you just turn up straight into the animal. You have a hybrid form, and actually you have a couple different hybrid forms. Most zone users, when they're like skilled, can actually transfer between a few. And then you have your human form with enhanced abilities. Generally makes sense.
Okay.
And that's pretty straightforward. There's the, almost said spoiler. There's the tweet fruit, model falcon, which is the bird, or it's the Tori no Mi bird. It's essentially a bird fruit and model falcon. So The tweet tweet fruit is a category, and then you have the model. So if you could have the tweet tweet fruit model penguin if you wanted to be a penguin person, and then you'll have penguin related powers, which would suck because you wouldn't be able to swim still.
Yeah, no, this is not a world where I would want to be a penguin. Let me be very clear about that.
But one thing I also want to say is there are also mythical zones. In
Okay,
mythical
that's what I
zones,
wanted to ask about, actually. Tell
yep.
me.
So there's the phoenix fruit, the bird Tori Tori no Mi model phoenix. There's the let's see, is that not mythical? Wow, there's technically a jackal. I thought the jackal should be mythical because it's like Egyptian mythology, but technically it's not. There's a dragon fruit. There's the nine-tailed fox. So there are mythical zones. There's a unicorn. There's a Pegasus. I guess the Pegasus one technically doesn't say it's mythical either, but you get the idea.
That is so cool. Another point in the favor of me being interested in watching this, actually.
Yeah.
You know how much I love mythical creatures and cryptids and all of that stuff.
Oh, dude, and the mythical, the phoenix, the guy who's got the phoenix fruit is one of my favorite characters. It's
Well,
so
and I
good.
was gonna say that would be
It's
a
so
top
good.
choice of mine because remember last week on the Ben 10 episode, I
Yep.
talked about how Heat Blast was my choice because he can fly and he's fiery.
Yep,
And the Phoenix
that's
is
right.
sort of the same type of thing.
Well, okay, so I agree with you. I think the phoenix fruit is one of the top choices for this question because there are also you can fly, so you can fly over the ocean, big plus. But one of the powers that he has, he's not one of the strongest characters, but if you remember, phoenixes have healing properties. So he can self-heal and heal other people with his flames.
This is so right on the nose of exactly what I would want. And
Yeah.
also, you're safer from the ocean when you are a literal flying bird.
Yes, exactly. So now I'm going to get into the spoiler part. So if you don't want the spoilers about... Sorry, I just had something very large drive by. It's the trash getting taken out. One moment. Hopefully that's not as loud. So here's my spoiler. And I'm sorry for you. You just have to deal with this because of our thought experiment. But
skip ahead if you really are passionate about it.
Yeah, skip ahead like 2 minutes if you don't want the spoiler. Maybe like 5 minutes.
Hopefully not that long.
Hopefully not that long. You'll know if we're still talking about it. But so devil fruits, we learn later in the series, are the manifestation of someone's deepest desire. That is how they come to exist. So the Brachiosaurus fruit, somebody really wanted to be a Brachiosaurus, and they manifested that shit so hard that they grew a fruit into existence that would allow them to become a Brachiosaurus. Which means the reason this is important for what we're saying is your devil fruit power is only as limited as your desire for something. And not all devil fruits are good. I'll tell you that right now. Some people desire messed up things. It's just a fact, right? But what it means is your deepest desire, or if you just have something that you really so passionately want to will to exist, technically it is on the table as a devil fruit power. You could become the Loch Ness Monster. You could become the cryptozoology fruit man, where you can create all of these different cryptids that exist in mythology or turn into them.
Clarifier question.
Yeah.
If you eat the phoenix fruit, is it not already the phoenix, or is it only the phoenix fruit because of the person who ate it?
It is the phoenix fruit. So it's not eating the fruit that gives you the power. It is the fruit itself. So the willpower is what manifests the fruit into existence. So you might have eaten someone else's. It's very unlikely that you did eat your own dream.
Oh, that is fascinating. So somebody else willed it into existence, and then it ended up somewhere, and someone got their hands on it.
Theoretically, we don't fully know how devil fruits are created yet. Still in the series where I'm at, okay. We know very little about how devil fruits work in general. But we do know that the powers that come from them are directly tied to someone's willpower or someone's deepest dream, or however it was translated.
Fascinating. Okay.
Yes.
Well, in that case, let's get this part of the discussion out of the way in case anybody did skip ahead.
Okay, yeah.
What deepest desire do you think would transmute into a devil fruit for you? I can think about it myself as well, but I have a really hard time answering because I am
It's
pretty
tough.
content. I'm a happy dude. Like I don't have all these things that I feel like I really want. Um I think
There
that my big thing would be ease of travel. So I think I would probably end up being something that could fly.
I mean, you could choose to be the light fruit, which is one of the admirals has that fruit too, where you literally are light. You can travel. You can't really travel at the speed of light perfectly, um, but you can travel pretty much as fast as light. Maybe the speed of sound, we'll say generously, because traveling at the speed of light would break the physics of the show. So the guy doesn't actually do that.
I see.
Um, but it does allow you to fly because you just bounce off of things. You just turn into a light beam and travel until you stop.
See, but I
um,
would also want to be a bird.
yeah. Yeah. If you didn't want, I mean, you could have like a teleportation fruit where you don't even need to fly. You could just like poof yourself to wherever you want to be.
Okay,
I'm,
actually, that might be it.
I bet there, but the thing is, there are natural limits to everything, right? So I think you would have to have seen the place to know how to travel there. I don't think you could just
Mm.
teleport anywhere. So what if you accidentally teleported into the ocean? You would just instantly die.
Okay, by that logic, it's probably better to just be something that can move fast and get directions on your way if you need it.
Yeah. You can get
Okay.
directions.
What
I'm
about
the
you?
GPS. No, me. What?
So I was going to say, what about you for your desire?
I do like dinosaurs. Being Godzilla, being a kaiju, that would be pretty sick. Like, I don't know which one I would even. I like you said, being a flying one would be pretty good. But being Rodan is pretty much like choosing a dragon. Um, and I don't want to just be a dragon. You can't be Godzilla because Godzilla. Part of why he's cool is you could swim. He's too bulky too. I'm not a giant. It'd be so cool to be like one of several different animals. Um, God, I wish there's some spoilers I wish I could tell you about for this conversation, but I'm not going to. I will fend.
So when Lou was a child, he and our neighbor tried to convince me that he was in fact a dragon.
No,
And
I didn't want to convince you because I knew you wouldn't believe it. But I tried to convince our neighbor of it, and probably they told you, and I had to try to back it up to defend the lie.
well, I was going to try to say that I feel like that spoke to your imagination and the idea that being a creature of this nature was something that even from childhood was a dream of yours, I would say. Like I could see that manifesting
Yeah,
into a devil fruit.
yeah. I think being a mythical zone would be sick. Like having the dragon fruit. Which, to be fair, we have actually not. I said we saw a dragon, and I actually lied. We don't see a dragon. You know what Gyarados, the Pokemon, is based on?
Yeah.
The
Oh,
mythical
oh,
Japanese
sorry.
creature.
Like, okay, I am somewhat familiar of the origin, but not
Yeah.
super.
So you know how Magikarp is a basic ass fish, and then he turns into Gyarados, this like crazy Pokemon with like a ridiculous type advantage in most of the games.
That, yes.
The story is that it is a normal fish that like swam, in a vertical waterfall and like defied all odds. And once he did, he was granted with this huge serpent power. Um, so technically speaking, the fruit that we see is actually that mythical serpent, and it's not a dragon, even though they can breathe fire, and for all purposes they look like a stereotypical Chinese dragon. But they're not. They're that serpent. They're like a Gyarados creature instead.
Okay.
So technically, if you did want to be a dragon, you could be the dragon with like wings, like a Western dragon. Um, there's also an axolotl that. Oh, okay. Okay. So then there's also
Whoa.
animals can eat devil fruits also, and actually, one person on the crew is a deer. Like they're actually a deer, and they ate the human fruit because humans are just animals too, right?
Oh my gosh. Wait, was that manifested by an animal?
Who knows?
Yeah, who knows? That's
Maybe you just
interesting.
wanted to be the most human there was. I wonder what that would look like.
Honestly, that is such a cool concept. That someone on the ship is a deer. Okay, you have told me about a lot of really wild, awesome things, and I admit I didn't realize that One Piece went to many of these like
Oh
creative
yeah.
places. It it
Oh,
does make me more interested in watching. I still want to do it the Netflix way through
I've
the
got
new
one
animated
more place I got to bring
series.
up because it's new. There's
Okay,
Egghead Island, which is a completely science fiction themed place. So it's
that's
all
awesome.
futuristic technology. There's robots. There's lasers. It's just so it's just a sci-fi wet dream. And the
Just like
animation, oh, the animation is so good, dude. Don't even know how to explain it.
well,
That's
it
one
feels
thing I
like there's
won't be able to convince to you during this podcast is like, because one thing that we do evaluate is the animation and the music when we talk about when we want to move somewhere. Um, and those elements are incredible. They're just the animation is breathtaking. And for one reason, that's why I maybe would want to choose living in Wano, just because it's so unbelievably gorgeous.
gotcha. Okay. Well, here's what I think I would do. I think I would
Keep going. I can hear you.
as a general principle, would I live in this world? No, I don't think that I would. And the reason is it's frustrating because there's all of these awesome places. And in theory, I could pick one of these awesome places and never leave, and it would still be very close to some of the places that we visited on this show already,
Sure.
um, if not better. So I don't know. Maybe I'm talking myself into it a little bit. Um, I don't like the idea that there's this vast world and you have to be a little bit nervous about getting around.
That's our
However,
world. It's not that much more different than our world. Like for
okay,
real. I mean,
okay.
like how likely are you to go into the city and get harassed by gang violence?
I I don't. I'm not even
Oh
gonna
shoot, my headphones
speculate on
died.
that,
There we
but I
go.
will say that the one thing I could see is eating a phoenix fruit and being able to travel and have this power of healing. I feel like that is the sweet spot, genuinely. I think if I could get my hands on the phoenix fruit and move around the world that way, there's a lot of upside and you could see this beautiful world that exists and perhaps avoid some of the conflict. Now, I do think there would be a lot of people that were trying to find you if they knew who you were, and that makes you in danger
Yeah, maybe.
in some way. But then the only problem is you have to eat the devil fruit, and I don't want the ocean to be mad at me.
Oh, I don't care about that. I'd eat a devil fruit tomorrow. If somebody
I
walked
love
up to me in my real life and was like, "Hey, this is the pterodon power. Do you want to become a pterodon?" I'd be like, "Dude, get that in my mouth right now."
that's wild.
I
No,
would
not me.
absolutely become a pterodon. They'd be like, "Oh, you just can't swim in the." I already hate the ocean. It's hardly a downside for me.
Yeah, but if you're in a world like this, staying out of the ocean is hard. Again, though, so much easier if you're a bird. So that is the one scenario that I would consider it, but I think that I would lean toward
You
no.
have like the whole infinity of powers right now. You have more powers in this world than Ben 10. You could be anything. You could do pretty much any. You could have the imagination fruit, where whatever
Well,
you imagine comes into existence. And you say, "I want to be a bird."
I like the water. I don't want them to be mad at me. And I
You can
also,
still
yeah,
hang
I
out
do
in
like
like a
birds.
creek.
Well, I don't know, man. I just don't care that much. Like I said, I'm very content. There's
Then
nothing
why are
that's
we
like
even doing
calling
this
me.
show?
Well, okay, all right. To be fair,
That defeats the whole purpose.
there are all kinds of things that appeal to me, but I always want to do them in a safe setting. Like I'm not so itching for the wildest adventure of my life that I need to go to a place that has a very high risk. So that's ultimately where it comes down to me. Don't get me wrong, if it was much safer, I would definitely consider a bunch of the places that you talked about.
I don't think I explained well that there are plenty of safe places in this world.
That's true. You did not.
I was trying to. I said
Well,
I
but
didn't
you
want to like lean it towards convincing you because I wanted to make it more broad for
well,
everybody.
but you
And
you
obviously,
also
like
said
the story is following this group of extremely powerful pirates that are directly defying the world government. So, like, obviously, through their lens, it's going to be a pretty tumultuous journey. But that doesn't mean that everywhere on this whole huge planet is like super violent or anything. You know what I mean?
but if you are in one of the safer places, you sort of said you can't really leave, or people don't, unless
I
you're a
mean, you
bird.
could. You could, but like part of the reason most people don't is just because, like, yeah, like it's just geographically not an easy thing to do. But I mean, we're in like a hypothetical here. You could set it up to where you can if you want, but you probably wouldn't.
Well, I would if that was my option. I just feel like by setting it up to where you could easily get out of it, you're pretty much you got to eat the devil fruit. I that seems
I mean, or
honestly, I
you could just be a shipwright and just be a captain of a ship.
Yeah, but then you could get taken down by pirates.
Well, yeah. Yes, that is
There's
technically
there's
possible.
just so many contingencies. Um,
It's
like
not it's an ocean. It's not like you're gonna get, like
I'm having
every
a
time
hard
you drive
time.
your every time you drive your car, are you worried about getting, like, robbed?
Listen, you did an awesome job selling why this is an awesome place. I'm just saying, with it being an awesome place to live, that's where I'm struggling. Not that it's not super cool.
Aren't you in the Digimon world?
Yes, that was a mistake.
You could
I
have a gear flung into your back at any time.
every night I wake up to the cry of loud monsters and
No, but
beasts.
you don't understand my point. There aren't worlds that don't have danger factors. They don't exist.
Yes, I agree with you there. I guess maybe this is better than Earth because at least it's more interesting. But I don't know,
Hell
man.
yeah.
There's so many cool places that you described, but there's also like a bunch of normal places. And yeah, we get the option to pick. I just
Yeah.
it's to be honest, maybe there's a piece of it that it's a world that I'm so unfamiliar with that it's hard for me to say yes based on the description alone. Like I
One
feel
Piece.
like I need to see it.
There's one piece of it.
Yeah. All right. You
I
got me
brought it
back.
back. I brought it back. No, I mean part of it is hard because I am just trying to like describe it to you, and if you'd seen some things, it probably would be a lot easier to imagine.
Yeah.
You could be part of the royal elite. They are the safest people in any canon we've ever talked about. They are
Oh,
completely protected by everybody.
but
You
they
can do
suck.
anything you want as them. You can have slaves. You can,
I do no,
you have
let's
the
have
best medical care.
how about this a world where I don't have slaves? Let's simmer down.
Well, you better
I
make sure your coffee's fair trade. That's all I'm going to say about that.
just to be safe, I am going to not be part of the royal elite. Um
Well, that's the least safe option, so that's pretty ironic.
what do you want me to say yes, I would be in this world as a phoenix, but I'm not ready to leave the digital world yet?
I mean, I want you to be honest, but I just I can't. The reason that I'm surprised is because I feel like you don't. If you understood the One Piece world, there's no way you wouldn't want to live there. Like in general, not
Somewhere.
necessarily move, but somewhere you wouldn't find because it's just such a vast and expansive world with so many different amazing things that you could do. I didn't even tell you about Whole Cake Island. That's a whole island that is literally just sugar and sweets. It's made of cake.
Okay, that's cool. And you know what I was thinking? I thought about being in the Halloween place as like a werewolf or something, even though it's
You could
totally against who
absolutely
I
do
am.
that.
And it's like I do think that what you also said about the ships with community, that also really appeals to me. It's like there's a ton of things you described that are like 95% of the way there.
There's a
Um,
civilization of wizards on Sky Island, and they don't have trouble from anybody because they live on clouds in the sky. They are
that's
hella
awesome.
safe.
All right, you know what? You've talked me into it. I'm sure that I would find somewhere to be. Uh,
Yeah,
the
let's
the the,
go.
the wizard clouds. I don't want to make such a spur of the moment choice on something I just learned, but that would probably be high on the list.
No, I brought that up because I thought that you would like that one. There's just so I obviously couldn't have talked about it because there's so many. Like there's a whole that's a
All
spoiler.
right,
Oh
here's
god.
why I will say yes. I think that I would probably be somewhere here. I sort of alluded to this earlier. Every episode of Jester Bros Cartoon Travelers, we talk about a different place, and many of these places on their own are probably one place in One Piece. So
Yeah,
it's like
exactly.
you can find one. You know,
Yeah, you'll
that's
find
the vibe
something.
that I'm getting. All right, good enough. With that said, I'm still in my childhood dream of being in the digital world, and I think when it's a place I just haven't seen with my own two eyes, it's hard for me to pull the trigger. But I have a feeling that you are about to move to the world of One Piece.
So I exist right now in the Owl House as a teacher, right?
The Boiling Isles from Owl House, yeah.
God, I love that so much.
Let me say
This is
this.
this is a tough one,
I
man.
I left the world of Hilda to go to Digital World because Digimon was my favorite childhood show. And now I am in a lot of danger and sort of missing my cozy haven where I could look for cryptids and make a book out of it.
Well, so here's the thing, right? Part of why I choose a location is my meaning and purpose that I have there, right? I'm not looking for a vacation life. I'm not a vacation life kind of person. Even on vacation, I like to like do stuff that makes me feel like I'm progressing as a human being in some way. You know what I mean?
Okay. Mhm.
Um, and for that reason, the One Piece world is great for me because I know this is one thing that I didn't tell you. There are all of these pirate crews that you could join, and you could have, the family, the love of your life, all these things on this pirate crew, right? There's
Mhm.
also the world government, and there's also the Revolutionary Army. And the Revolutionary Army are not pirates for some reason. I don't really know why. I think it's just because they don't have a boat that we know of, like a specific boat. Because as far as we know, the government brands them as criminals, so I don't know why they're different from pirates. That's beside the point. There is a huge revolutionary effort going on to liberate this whole world and to make everyone free. And that's something that I very deeply care about, right? And it's
Yeah.
one of the things that I struggle with the most in life here because it feels like everything is so helpless and there aren't any winning causes to join. Everything is a loss and we are simply oppressed, and that's the way that it's going to be. And it's just going to be who is, you know, who the oppressors are is the only thing that we might even have a fraction of a say in. Not even really. And that really bums me out about this life. So the idea that I could be a person who could join a crew of people that I really identify with, and I think they're sexy as fuck. Getting on to Grapple D Law, the baddest of asses on the planet. This is what all this was building to.
Are you really trying to share a picture here?
Absolutely, I am.
All right. Wow, it sure is good that we are not censoring the explicit language anymore, at least from podcast
Oh,
form.
yeah. All right, everybody. No, I'm not censoring it. Look at this baddie. Oh, god damn. Ooh,
Whoa, 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 whoa! Simmer down there, sport.
ooh.
Uh,
Look at this peak physical form right there. Oh my god. Okay.
wow. For those of you who are watching the YouTube version, you got lucky by being able to actually see this.
Oh yeah, you did.
Audio listeners, Lou is he was zooming back and forth on the animated body of this man who
Oh
honestly
yeah.
just looks like a guy.
Are you kidding me? No, I'm actually offended. This
I think that
man,
you've fallen in love with the
first of
personality over
all,
many years of
First of
watching
all,
the
the
show.
fact that you assume that this is just a guy shows how perverted your sense of body image for males are, because that is not what any guy on the fucking planet looks like.
I mean, he's got abs, but
Bro,
it's not.
he's got a 10 pack, bro. Are you kidding me? And he doesn't look too bulky. Look at that tattoo. Okay? That tattoo is representative of the heart pirates. Okay? The heart pirates. This man is the surgeon of death. He's a doctor. This man could nurse me back to health.
I'm sure you'd enjoy that.
Oh, you better believe
I
I would.
so don't get me wrong. For me, whether somebody is buff, sexy, ugly, in between, they're still just a guy to me if I don't know anything about. Okay, that's a sexy picture.
That is a
I will admit
sexy
that's
picture.
that's a sexy picture.
Bro,
He pulled
his
up another one,
facial
audio
hair?
listeners.
Oh my god. Dude, it's the
Man,
facial hair for me. I love
I
that goatee.
I don't know if I hope people dropped off by now or not. They're
This was my background on my computer for such a long time.
got it.
Dog.
Let's I'm
Okay,
gonna go ahead
so
and remove the screen share.
okay,
You already
so part of why I brought that up. I mean, first of all, am I comically in love with this man? Absolutely. However, the real reason is because the Heart Pirates are some people that I actually get down with. Like, I love this crew. I think this man is sensible and like actually a really smart guy in this series. A lot of people would be like, "Oh, which pirate crew would you join?" And so many people say the Straw Hat crew. And I would absolutely hate having Luffy as a captain. This dude would drive me bonkers. He's way too high energy. He has no sense of a plan. Like, I would feel like he's marching me to my death constantly. Like, I don't know how his crew has so much faith in him. Like, for real. Like the strongest swordsman on the team gets lost all the time. Like their most overpowered people are literally really stupid. And it would make me so nervous. This guy is a tactician to the max. He's super kind. His backstory I can't spoil, but oh my god, it will tear your heart out. I love him. I think he's a fantastic and he's on board for like part of his plot line was like liberating this one community that was directly related to him, his backstory, right? And I so stand for that. And I know that his crew is going to be there to like be on the right side of history, I'll say, without spoiling anything. And yo, even if I wasn't on his crew specifically, which I'm actually heavily thinking that I would be, like I would love to be part of the Heart Pirates.
Yeah.
I would have a crew that would absolutely be like in alliance with him. Like I would want to like stand by his cause and like fight with them and maybe splinter off and do my own stuff working for, you know, like the liberation of all that's good in society and all that kinds of stuff. But man, like I think that's the one thing that I'm missing in Owl House is like I love the people, but I don't have that like diehard love of community that I get in One Piece. You know what I mean? Like
I get it. I thought you were going to end up here. I always have.
These people are the people are friends and they are chill, but it's still a very suburban friendship lifestyle in my opinion. You know what I mean? Like
yeah.
It's not that they won't die for each other, but I don't feel it the way that I feel it for the One Piece in One Piece. Like I'm not crying over anyone's life decisions except for that one bird in the Owl House world. I think I think I have to be in the One Piece world. I think I have to. I think I have to make that move. And I think I would be on my own pirate crew with an assortment of eclectic characters that I met on my journey. But I would be a pirate, and I would be a pirate who's specifically in defiance of the world government and is actively gaining power and gaining resources to be in contention with that battle, whether I'm one of the main figures or not. You know what I mean?
I think that's great, dude. And I am happy for you that you found this sweet spot. I think this is going to be a hard one to get you to leave.
It's going to be a hard one to get to leave. Owl House was a hard one to get to leave, though. So, like, you know, I like change.
Good. I'm still in the market. I have some ideas on where I could end up in the future, but we'll see.
Yeah, this
let me
is just too
say
perfect.
two things based on everything that you told me about the One Piece game. Two things that it needs. One, a Dungeons and Dragons style RPG that somebody can DM, because this game was made
Oh,
for a
that'd be
Dungeons
sick.
and Dragons type atmosphere, and I know that you have like friends that you would be able to play that with.
Totally.
I would love that for you. You know, I love D&D. I don't think the One Piece D&D one would speak to me because I don't know the show as well, but for the people that love it,
Yeah.
money's sitting on the floor there. They need to do that. I see that there is some kind of an RPG, but I think it's a Steam thing.
Dude, the One Piece video games are all terrible.
Okay, got it.
I don't know why. The shows, even the spin-off movies often are actually pretty good. Maybe not often, but every so often they're pretty good.
It's got 9 out of 10 on Steam, One Piece Odyssey, the RPG.
Oh,
So,
I did hear Odyssey was a little better.
gotcha. So maybe that's a newer one. Oh yeah, it is. It's pretty new. Anyway, so that's one thing. You know, make those books, put something together. They just did one for Avatar: The Last Airbender that I heard was pretty good.
Cool.
Number two, all these people making fan-made Pokemon style games. I think making a One Piece retro style Pokemon game would be a brilliant idea.
Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god.
Their mind over.
I don't know if anybody that we reach are in the realm, in the subgenre of like Pokemon ROM hacks, but I've been playing a lot lately. Dude, if somebody made a Pokemon ROM hack and the 6 Pokemon you had were your crew, I would spend $1,000 on that tomorrow. I would literally want that game so badly. Oh my god, you could have the map be designed after the One Piece work. Guys, come on, somebody get that to the right people. That is such a good idea. Oh,
you can learn how to do it.
I could learn how to do it. This is my new arc. The YouTube channel just becomes a ROM hack.
All right, everybody sit on that. Let me say from a show perspective, these episodes are now going to be coming on Thursdays. So if you've been listening to the podcast, that's 2 days later than you're used to. I also want to remind people that if you have just joined us on YouTube, there are about 20 to 25-ish episodes that came before the YouTube version, and you can listen to all of those on other podcast platforms like Spotify, Apple Podcasts, any of those. Again, there's no video, but you are more than welcome to go back into the archive if you've been enjoying this. So I think that's all I got.
All right, I just pulled up Pokemon Studio. It's a workshop on bringing it to life your own Pokemon game, so the journey has begun.
Best of luck, my friend.
I hope I can I'm actually gonna try to learn. Dude, that would be such a sick idea!
It would. It's going to be very hard. You know, I know somebody
It
has been
is.
trying to do a Digimon style game, and they have been putting a ton of time, and it's been years in the making. So,
Maybe I'm gonna
um,
end up in some weird Discord servers and start, you know, figuring this out with some nerds.
all right. Well, I listen. I want that. I hope that
Me
it's
too.
everything that you hope.
Yeah, that's cool. All right, everybody. I'm on the One Piece Island. I'm just gonna say that I'm part of the. You know what? Really quick, I gotta ask one more question. If
Okay.
you did make a pirate crew, what would your pirate crew name be?
Oh, okay. That's a good name.
Like, what would you base it on? What's your theme?
So, what did you say the main one was? It's the lovers crew.
The
What do they?
heart. I'm the heart of lovers crew. Jesus Christ!
I'm
Look at
so
this.
sorry.
Look at this non-weeb. I'm glad we live in a society where that's lame.
I'm so sorry. I got. I have attachment to the idea more than the name. My memory is not the best. So the heart
There's a
crew.
lot. There's the
So
Black Cat Pirates. I mean, a lot of the pirates are just named after their captain. I think that's lame. There's the Cook's Crew. I forgot there's an island or there's a boat in the East Blue that's just a restaurant with a lot of really
mhm.
strong cooks. There's the Cook's Crew. There's the Clown Pirates, the Foxy Pirates,
What
which
about the
is not
musical
what you think.
pirates? We could be the musical crew where we go around and sing to everybody.
There is a devil fruit where you turn into instruments. That's your power.
All right, that's interesting. So we could have that on board
Yeah,
somehow.
you could be, and then there's actually a really big character that a movie was based on. That's a music-based fruit too.
Ooh, or the
Oh,
imagination crew. We're all just a bunch of struggling artists.
I like that one. The Imagination Crew. That's a good one.
That's kind of
There.
what we are here. Oh my god, everybody, we are
Yep.
the imagination crew for the on the Ana Machine. We have a name for our pirate ship, literally. That's what this show is.
Oh yeah, there is a devil fruit power too, where anything that you draw can come to life.
Wait, this is legit, dude. We need to name our crew because the people who listen, they are the crew.
Oh shoot, yeah, you're right. You're part of our grand fleet.
All right. I mean, okay, we can't let this sit here. Do you think the imagination crew is good, or should we go for?
Man, if the Jester Bros cartoon theater had a pirate crew, what would we name it?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we are naming it. I think it's critical.
What about the Dream Jesters?
Oh wow. Why though? Why the dream?
The Dream Jester Pirates, because part of it is bringing our dreams to life.
Yeah, I mean, it could just be the jester crew, but
Nah, that's too close to the Clown Pirates, and we're not we're
all right,
not
all right,
we're not clown themed enough. We have more theater than Jester,
all right. I guess that's true. Um,
even though I do the Jester thing. I do fire spinning and stuff, but
all right.
I think
How about this? If you are still listening, you're a real one. Tell us in the comments
yeah,
what you
yes.
think the crew should
Let
be.
us know. That is our comment call out. Let us know in the comments what our crew name is for the channel. I want to know. I'll pin the one that I think should win if we get enough comments. Which
Awesome.
and you know what? While we're doing shout outs, please also become a member of the channel if you are listening to these and really enjoy it. The podcasts based on the audience that we formed with what we were doing on YouTube before aren't doing quite as well, which is to be expected. But it
We knew
means that memberships are that much more important because it helps pull the weight a little bit for these videos. So much love to everybody who's enjoying these. We're really loving putting them out. I've really been enjoying doing this. So we're gonna keep doing it.
Heck yeah. All right, everyone. As if I can't swear anymore. Hell yeah. Listen to me go.
This guy.
That's one that I wouldn't have bleeped back in the old days. Yeah.
This is a new era. We're in the new world now.
We are.
We're
This is
sailing.
so can I just say another canonical thing to make sure to get it on the record, even though we're an hour and 24 minutes in?
Absolutely.
Okay, so I said that the end of season 1 was after episode 20. I am going to revoke that and say that the end of season 1 was when we moved over to YouTube. So
That works
like
for me.
because this is basically the reboot, right? Or maybe season 2, and we can say, season 1 is all of the podcasts that never made it to video. So some of
Yeah.
those we may redo. We've talked about that.
Yeah. We might put him back on the channel.
Yeah, either way, thank you everybody for your support. Really, if you are listening this far in, you don't even know how much we appreciate you sticking by all of the channel's changes over the years. So it means a
Absolutely,
lot.
yeah. Oh, this is the first one that I'm a part of that we've done on YouTube. Because now, like this is the first island, or this is the first place that I've decided to live that we did while we're in the YouTube era.
That is true. I wonder what mine is going to be.
You got to get on board. Yeah, you could just jump ship to either of the two that we've, or either of any of the 3. How many have we done? Is it 3?
3. But
Yeah.
I'm not ready yet. I'll think about no, because we're supposed to have to decide in the moment, and if we skip it, we skip it.
That's fair.
All right,
let's think about one that you would be into for next time specifically.
All right,
and let us know in the comments where you want us to go.
That's right. Thanks, everybody. We will talk to you next time.
Peace. One Piece.
Oh, and one more thing. I should also note that we may be doing some episodes every week, even though we've been doing them bi-weekly for a long time. It's not a hard rule, but
yeah, our schedule's loosey-goosey.
Yeah, if you get a one more per week, or I guess, yeah, an extra one that you weren't expecting once in a while.
And hey, if you hit the bell, then you'll get a notification whenever it comes. This is just gonna be an endless plug.
Make sure to subscribe to the channel, everybody.
Yeah, I don't even know. Do we even say that anymore? If you like this, you really should.
Yeah, that is quite true.
If you're this far into the episode, you honestly should, even if you just fall asleep to it or whatever.
All right, I think that covered it. I think we're good.
All right. And another thing. One Piece is great. You actually watch it if you haven't, or start watching it, or read the manga. Just read the manga.
Very good. All right, man. If you don't know One Piece and also made it an hour and a half in, a real one. Let me just.
You're crazy. You are absolutely insane.
Oh, hi, Mom and Dad.
Yeah, my surgeon of. Oh yeah, that's right, because they'll watch it. Oh, I'm sorry you just saw me fanning over that sexy hunk of man that Law was. That's pretty awkward. I'd do it again.
I know.
You want me to pull it up?
Nah, I think that we're good on.
No, here, I'll pull it up right now.
Daddy Law.
Trafalgar Daddy Law. It's in the namesake, everyone.
All right.
Yeah.
Are you actually pulling it up?
No, I'm not. I mean, I could. I was expecting you to just cut me off for the bit, but I've got pictures.
Listen, I'm happy to cut you off. I can end the recording at any time.
No, please. Let me just get my Trafalgar Daddy Law pictures going right now. I'm excited.
All right. Perfect.
All right, let's go.
You go ahead and.
Oh, I thought you cut it off already. You're actually letting me do it. Let's go.
Yes, no. Why not? We made it this far. What's an hour and a half? See, I knew that as soon as you were just going to be spending time explaining something to me, that the train was not going to be on the tracks.
Yeah.
Which is fine, because this was a boat. It was a ship, and we were in the water, and there are no tracks on the water.
You're actually letting me pull up my sexy man pictures. This is a good one. He's got death tattooed on his fingers.
I'm just gonna play a little bit.
Oh yeah. Free time skip. So there's a time skip in the show, and there's different animation designs for a lot of characters. So this is free time skip. Still think he's great. I prefer his post time skip design. But am I gonna end up with spoilers on here? I really hope not. Oh, there's his wanted poster. Ooh, look at that. Look at that smirk. That's a man that knows what's going on, if you ask me. Holy.
It looks like a man who is wanted for a lot of money.
Yeah, this is also a man that's wanted for a lot of money. That's a look of determination. That's the kind of look I want to see. Oh my, look at his hair, dude. Oh my lord. Do you see that?
Yeah, I'm wondering how much more time I have to see things.
Oh, I've got a lot. I'm just going through the wiki right now. That's pre-time skip design. I like it's a leopard seal print. This is where he gets all that clothing style from. If you were wondering.
Yeah, I don't know, man. I'm thinking that. Wow, does it look like? Oh, suddenly there's a cap on recording. We actually have a limit to how much we're able to have as a runtime.
Do we actually?
Do you know that?
I think you're lying.
I think you're lying.
Look at this one. Ooh, there's this hand.
All right, I'm gonna stop this before something shows up that nobody is ready for and becomes.
I'd like to do a lot of things with that hand.
All right.